Testing, checking. Can anybody hear me? Hello. Testing, checking. Okay. I heard myself. Wow. What a start. Oh my god. So, yeah, we're definitely in a retrograde. I can feel it already. Literally just trying to get on the stream. Like, what the hell? I get super annoyed with right before we get into a retrograde when I feel like a lot of people on social media, or at least in the communities that I'm in on social media, maybe I just need to stop following those communities, but that they all want to mention retrograde, like, oh my god, it's coming, it's like preparing for the apocalypse or something. And it just gets obnoxious. So let's just start there. What's a retrograde? So check this out. We're gonna jump over to, because I had pretty much like everything just feels screwed up before I even got on just now on stream. Yeah, screw it. We're just gonna jump over to follow along with me here. So what is a retrograde? What is a retrograde in astrology? Apparently, retrograde motion is the apparent motion of a planet in a direction opposite to that of other bodies within its system, as observed from a particular vantage point. Direct motion or prograde motion is motion in the same direction as other bodies. So we're going to just click this first. Let's see. Let's do, oh, you know what? Let's do, what is that called? Cafe Astrology. What is retrograde cafe astrology? They're usually a good source to go to. Cafe Astrology. Retrograde cycle stations. Actually, we'll just click this. So retrograde indicates a backwards movement or motion of a planet. It generally means a planet is in a backwards movement from Earth. So like if we observe that planet from Earth, it's moving, appearing to move backwards. So in astrology, retrograde describes the apparent backwards movement of a planet. This is because the planet isn't actually moving backwards. That's the key. It's not actually moving backwards. We just think that. It's only an illusion here on Earth, and in astrology each planet has a different meaning, which is turned on its head when it appears to be moving backwards or in retrograde. So for those who are like, what the actual F is retrograde, and you're just seriously like what is that? What does that even mean? There you have it. It appears as though a planet may be moving in a backwards motion here from Earth. So this is why you might hear, if you're listening to some people talk about astrology, and they're like, oh, Venus is in retrograde, or Mars is in, that's usually a common one, Mars is in retrograde, or Jupiter's in retrograde, or Saturn's in retrograde, or something, right? If they're saying a planet is in retrograde, it actually means it appears here on Earth that planet looks like it's moving backwards. Doesn't actually mean it is. It's an illusion of the eye. And when this happens, because in astrology planets are associated with, well, how do I explain it? I'm not an astrologist. I don't consider myself an astrologist. I guess I could say it this way. So be gentle on me, astrologists, if you hear it, if it's wrong and you're like, oh, that's not right. Basically, planets can be associated with the constellations, or how do I even say this? Planets can, shit, didn't it say it over here? I don't know how to say it. But basically, Man, I can't even speak right now. Oh my god. It's just... Retrograde is just hitting me in the fucking face super hard, so much so that I can't even explain what it is. I just can't even. This is... It actually has not been my day, but it feels like as I'm going into the night, I'm just starting to just get smacked in the face with whatever retrograde we're in. And yes, I think I could be wrong. Oh no, it's a full moon, because I saw it on my cousin's clock. She has the moon cycle on there. It's a full moon right now. So there's a full moon too. It's in Cancer, or it's a new moon in Cancer. Fuck, see, I'm not an astrologist. I don't know this stuff. Let's see, watch. Let's go back over. Let's try this one more time. Let's do this. Even better, what is astrology? Astrology, the study of the movements and relative positions of celestial bodies, interpreted as having an influence. That's what I was trying to say, as having an influence on human affairs in the natural world. Right, because I'm thinking of constellations as in like the stars. I'm thinking of the stars having an influence on our behavior, on our emotions, the moon having an influence on our behavior and emotions. And yes, astrologers may even go as far as the planets and the rotation of planets, or the alignment of the planets, or the non-alignment of certain planets can have an influence and effect on our emotions here as humans on Earth. Maybe the way we make choices, maybe the way things in our outer world are going, right? So that's astrology right there. No, I don't consider myself an astrologist. Clearly at this point, I definitely don't. And with all that said, welcome to the stream. I am drinking some Arizona green tea. They only have the cans available at the stores right now, or at least the Walmart next to my cousin's house, because out here in Arizona, everybody's being shitheads and buying everything off the shelves. So there's that. There's that right now. That's happening, and it's stupid, and it sucks. I wanted to talk about a few things on stream tonight. I'm starting off with kind of maybe a little bit humorous. I'm in bed right now. As you can see, I have my covers. I'm in bed. I was gonna do the stream standing up, and I just don't want to. I'm like, it's just a really weird time, and like I was saying, I think a lot of it has to do with going into retrograde right now, which I fucking hate, which a lot of people hate. And it's like retrograde, I've said this so many times before, we don't need to, it doesn't have to be something to hate. It doesn't have to be something that's like, oh my god, it's going to be so terrible. I think that's why I get so annoyed with people bringing up, before retrograde, all the spiritual junkies or the astrology junkies that are like, oh my god, retrograde's coming. It's like we have to prepare for a shitty time. And, like, it's not that, but that's what it feels like to me in a way. And so when things aren't necessarily going great already, and somebody's like, oh my god, a retrograde's coming, dude, and it's just like, shut up, like, shut the hell up. I don't want to hear that right now. I don't care to hear that, you know. But no, it's I find it funny because I now, before I ever knew what retrogrades were, I could have cared less, you know. And now it's not that I don't care. I mean, I have some interest in them enough to talk about it, right? But and I do think it can influence our outer world, our inner world. I think astrology can be relevant, and it can also definitely be taken with a grain of salt. But no, I find it funny because now I can never not know that a retrograde is coming, because there's like pages on social media that I don't even follow them. I think they just like pop up on my feed because of the things I like, because of the algorithms, and I'm like, oh well, I guess a retrograde's coming, you know. So yeah, so I've been a bit off lately. Things have been today not so much off, I guess, but I don't know, the past few days things have felt off, and I think that could be, if you choose to solely look at it from the perspective of a retrograde, and like that just has the almighty power over all of us, and and astrology has the almighty power over all of us, as in like it's like our fate in a way, or like dictates our the avenue or the path or the road of our lives, like then that's the way you choose to look at it. I don't think it takes complete control over our lives. I think that retrogrades we can learn a lot from them about ourselves, and it is very, very easy to say that, and it is not so easy when you're in the moment and when you're in the heat of it, and it's challenging like every area of your life, and you're just like, I can't do this anymore, right? Dare I say I might come back and look at this video and be like, what the fuck was I thinking saying that? But dare I say, thankfully right now that hasn't happened with this retrograde. I'm being very careful saying that. Please, retrograde, don't fuck me over. Please don't fuck with me. Please homies, please aliens out there. So yeah, I'm just doing this stream to kind of check in. I don't think I still have COVID. So for those of you who have tuned in, if you haven't followed me on Instagram, go ahead and check me out on Instagram, at Nomad Zen. You can see it in the bottom, well, right there. The spelling is right there on your screen. If you just type in this spelling right here in Instagram, you'll find me on Instagram, and go ahead and give me a follow and check out some of the stuff I've made on there. But for those of you who have been following, you've seen how I've kind of posted about within these past few weeks or so, I got COVID, and how that journey has been, and I've posted a little bit about it, and not a ton of content about it, but in a lot of the downtime from not posting or not being on social media, I've just been resting, and I've been trying to get better, and I am getting better, thankfully. I'm very grateful. I'm getting better. My energy was up a little bit tonight, and actually today, for the most part, it's really awesome. It's super awesome. But I want to share, as I'm starting to talk about this, that there was. I don't think she's on stream right now, but maybe I can just like give her a shout out on Instagram. So her name is Jill Batista. She's a massage therapist. She's a licensed massage therapist in the state of Arizona. And she gave a message a few days ago that was like talking about it's just really simple. Like if you're not, because so many people are getting sick out here in Arizona with COVID, if you're not feeling up to doing stuff, like you're just feeling like shit, or you're really sick with COVID, or you're just really sick in general, or you just feel like hell, like just rest, just take a break, just stop what you're doing, rest, or put the right stuff in your body, right? Like she had been talking about kind of her juice cleanse that she was doing at the time, and that's great. And yeah, like put the good stuff in your body, the veggies and fruits and all the good stuff. We can talk about all of that another time. But what I'm saying is, like, putting the right stuff in your body, hydrating, and resting. Just rest. Like if you don't feel good, just rest and get better, right? And that's what I had been doing for the past few weeks. It's been a lot of um, rest, a lot more than what I thought, and a lot longer than I thought too. And that's what's really caught me off guard. Before I forget to do it, we're going to take a look here in a moment at one of the things that that was gifted to me and that I've tried many times before, that goes along with kind of what I'm talking about, what I'm saying Jill was talking about in a way, which is there's the rest, there's the putting the good stuff in our bodies and hydrating, and just move when you want to move. Like if you feel up to moving and you can get some movement, then go move, right? One of the things that as I've gotten better, that I've noticed, well, actually, I'll just say in the whole arc so far of having COVID. So for those who don't know, I basically I've been, like I said, I don't think I'm still technically positive with COVID right now. I'm waiting on a test result that should be coming tomorrow. So I'll know then. But pretty much, so we're going into the 4th week, I think, this week. So pretty much about a month. So I have, like, the beginning of COVID, the first kind of week when I really had it, and the second week, the first 2 weeks, I stopped hydrating as much. And I stopped, I just craved chicken and beef and poultry and like all the protein that I could get, and I just craved it constantly around the clock. It was really weird. It was like I hadn't felt that ever, I don't think, like ever. But it was because my body was putting out so many fluids, right? I was just draining myself of all the fluids, and so I just would feel really dehydrated and but then also really hungry for proteins, for just the fatty proteins that I could get my hands on, right, or eat. But one of the things that was gifted to me, and I think it was my second week, from a very good friend that has allowed me to try this before, has actually inspired me before to buy some of my own, is it's a protein powder that helps. I have actually been taking it for the pretty much this whole week. I've taken some almost every morning, and it's totally changed. Like, I've been worried because I'm like, oh my god, I haven't been hydrating as much, and I was drinking a lot of soda. And the weird thing is, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because yes, because it's good for you, and I want to show you guys who are interested out there in what it is. I'll pull it up here, and then I'll keep talking here. So watch, let me just do this real quick. And we're gonna jump over. So check this out. This is what I'm talking about first and foremost. Let's just do the one I do. So it looks like, is this it? Oh, that's at Walgreens. Dang, that's actually a good deal, $22.49. But I don't think that's actually the one I was taking. So I'll just go back. Let's just do this. Pretty much, this isn't the flavor. Let's see if I can find the flavor I was getting. Is this it? I think this is it right here. So this right here, and I'll try to zoom in here. So if you guys are interested in getting a really good protein powder, yeah, this is the flavor, berry flavor, if you can see that. And it's called Vega, V-E-G-A, Vega 1 or Vega. And you can find it, it's a Vega shake, and the berry flavor, I would definitely highly recommend the berry flavor. I've taken all kinds of proteins since I was in middle school. And I used to really be into taking protein powders like pretty much every morning before I went in the gym. I would constantly be taking protein powders. I stopped taking them after high school. I hated them. I hated it, and I stopped doing it, and I got away from it. And then a friend introduced me to this. And so I think this isn't their site. I don't know if they have a website. You know what, let's do this. Vega.com. Let's just see if that... Nope, that is some weird shit. I don't know. Vegaprotein.com. Nope, never mind. No, yeah, that's a long shot. I'll just do this one. We'll just keep it on this. But anyways, this is pretty much it. It has, oh, here we go. So this is the supplement facts to it. But what's really cool, it has vitamin A, C, calcium, iron, vitamin D, vitamin K. What is that? Thiamine, riboflavin. It has all of these nutrients and vitamins in them that some people might take in the morning. And instead of actually taking all of that, you can almost in a way replace it. The other thing is, if you look at the sodium, yes, it has 250 milligrams of sodium. There's no cholesterol, or at least it indicates there is none on the label. And you get 140 calories from it. So those of you calorie counters out there, it even has your calories on it. And then your calories from fat too. Really, I didn't, I was interested when they showed me about all these vitamins in it. And I have one in the pantry right now. I just don't want to grab it. That's why I was showing you guys this. But this stuff has helped me so much this week. But yeah, here's the ingredients. And it's all organic. So that's why you may have noticed the price on this. Okay, this one's $48.39 is what it says. But these generally, so what is this? I don't know. It says it's 24 ounces. And it said the price was marked down from $70. So that's about right. Pretty much you can go to your Whole Foods markets and you can find this stuff. The berry flavor is a very it's a really, if they still have it. I know they run out of the berry flavor a lot because it's really, really good. It's really good. It's better than, like, most proteins are vanilla protein or chocolate protein. I can't stand the taste of those. I hate them because I used to take them all the time and I just hate it. But the berry one's really good. It can get pricey. It can get pricey pretty quick. And those who buy protein know that most protein, like containers and stuff, it's going to cost you a good amount, but it's good for you. Like, this kind is actually good for you. It's not just bullshit good for you. No, it's actually good for you. It's gluten-free, has no grains. It's actually vegan, and there's no added sugars or artificial colors, flavors, or preservatives. I'm not trying to sell them right now, but I'm just telling you. This stuff is great. It's all organic. It's amazing. It's really, really good stuff. So I'm sharing that with you guys because that stuff has helped me a ton in hydrating. Now, yes, I know how that sounds. You're like, oh, you're using a protein to hydrate. But, well, yes, there's the very clear, you can just, obvious, you can just go get water with a balanced pH. You can get like water anywhere you get water and hydrate with water, right? And you can do that. For me, it has felt like, so does Vega protein actually hydrate you? Maybe not. It feels like it though. It feels like it has hydrated me because it has so many vitamins and nutrients in it. You can actually take it with water. It's not the best if you do it with water, but it's actually not terrible. Like, I've had protein powders where the vanilla kinds, or the, like when I was in middle school and high school, I would take proteins like ones that had some creatine in them, or ones that had, it was like a vanilla-based protein or the chocolate-based, or they had what other flavors? I can't even remember. Was it like mint flavors or something? I don't know, but anyways, like they just get gross. They get gross after a while and they suck and it just feels super chalky. This protein, it's not chalky. The Vega protein it's not chalky. It's really ground well. Um, it tastes really good with orange juice. My friend showed me that and I was like, I normally wouldn't take a protein with orange juice because then you're actually adding all that sugar in. You're adding all that, like if you just get like a store-bought orange juice, right? Instead of squeezing your own orange juice, you're adding like a ton of extra sugar and stuff in there. What's up, Cosmosis? I haven't seen you in a long time. What's up? Or heard from you? Yeah. But so yeah, Vega protein, it's really great. It has felt like it's hydrated me, and it's felt like it's helped me um, get back and get better. I guess So if you do have or catch COVID, and I hate to say that, but if you do, that's something that I would definitely invest in and get. And they even have the smaller bottles too, so you can get the. I think they're most Whole Food markets. The smaller ones are like what are they like 14 ounces or something like that. They're really tiny. So the one I showed you guys on Google is like this big, and then the smaller ones are like this big, and they can last you a long time. Like you don't really need a ton of it, um, but no, I think they run for, I could be wrong, it's something like $25, $30, which is really good. It's affordable. It's great for you. It's organic. It's amazing. But it's great to have in your arsenal. It definitely helped me, especially because I haven't been able to taste as much either, and it's been it's been interesting. It's been very strange, but um, if you should start taking creatine, yeah, thank you. I am feeling a lot better. Yeah, it knocked me on my ass. COVID knocked me on my ass. Like I mean, I think I think a lot of us. I feel like I can speak on behalf of a lot of people during like going back into like 20. Jesus, I probably don't want to go back to 2020, but going back into 2020 and like um, and 2021 and kind of like a lot of the talk that was happening about COVID, and I just remember a lot of people being like, "Oh, well, I haven't gotten it, and maybe I'm immune to it," right? And myself thinking, "Oh, maybe I'm immune to it," right? And a lot of people thinking, "Oh, well, because I haven't gotten it, maybe I'm immune to it," right? Like all of us thinking we're so special that like, "Oh, it didn't get me, I'm good," and no, like it. I had a feeling like back in last year, 2021, I kind of thought if I were to get COVID, I thought, yeah, maybe, just maybe, I would kind of presume from what I had heard and the people I knew who had gotten it, I just thought, I think it really will kick my ass. Like I didn't underestimate it. I was definitely like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that'll kick my ass, even though I attempt to be healthy and attempt to put healthy things in my body, right? Like, and try to be physically active and keep a healthy lifestyle. I had a feeling. I was like, I really think this is gonna knock me on my ass, and it did. It definitely did. Thankfully, it wasn't as bad as pneumonia, which is nuts to me. Like, but it also could be the strain that I caught too. So, yeah. Um, Personally, Cosmosis. Personally, I'll answer this question like this. Personally, I don't think. Um, well, actually, I would ask you, why do you want to start taking creatine? However, I would add that personally, I wouldn't start taking a bunch of creatine if your idea, and that's why I'm asking why, is because if you're trying to like bulk up, and that's why you want to take creatine, which is why most guys usually want to take creatine, nowadays too at the gym, I've noticed there's women who talk about, I've heard there's women talking about taking a shitload of creatine and trying to get bulky and bodybuilder shit. And no, I would not recommend doing that, because I had a number of friends in high school. I would take trace amounts of creatine. So it's like, I would say it like, it's like, it's like most things in life. It's like that, it's like not in excess, you know, like not doing, not doing it in too much excess, because I would take trace amounts of creatine in my protein. It was pretty cool. I had a high school coach who, I was involved in high school sports, and I had a coach who had this little device. It was nuts. It was like, okay, I have my phone right here, so I'll do this. It was like this. It was like, you would do this. Like, this is how it looked. It was stupid and cheesy, but basically it was about the size of my phone. And so you take this device and you hold it out like this, and you have to try to like stand perfectly still. And what it is like where my hands are on my phone, there'd be like these little grips, these hand grips, and you hold these hand grips. It looked like a Xbox controller or a PS5 controller or something, right? You like hold it out, and you have to, well, before you do that, you put in all this information on the device. So it's like a smart device, but it's not a phone or anything. And what it does is and then you hold it, and it calculates your it calculates numbers for you based off of your body index. So I don't remember what it was called, but it was really cool. So basically, he would do this with every player individually, and he would get like a synopsis of your body index, like what your body specifically needs to get to where. Now this is kind of the weird part, but what your body needs to get to where the coaches want you to be, right? So like, so not where we want to be, but where the coaches wanted us to physically perform at on a certain level, right? So this device would like tell you your body mass index, your height. Well, you would add in your weight, and then you would add your height and your weight, and it would calculate how much. So my bad. No, I can't remember. I think it would calculate it on there, or he had some formula. It was nuts. He came up with this like formula or something, because this coach that I had helped bodybuilders train for the Olympics. So it was really nuts. So he would do this where he would help. If anyone's ever heard of cleaning, where you clean a weight, or like cleaning in the Olympics, where not like cleaning where you're cleaning stuff, but I'm saying like where you add weights on a bar and you lift the weight and you go like this, that's a clean. Or a snatch, which is like not not a woman's snatch, but like but like it was called snatch. So you would take a bar, and it was the same thing. Instead of being in here, you're out here on the bar, and you lift up and you go like that, right? And so like it's a professional sport in the Olympics. Basically, he would help these Olympic athletes to get bigger and get faster and get stronger, and to be the best at what they do, right? So he came up with this formula, and what he would do is he would take all of what this little device said, and then he would say, okay, now I'm going to plug all this information into my formula, and what this formula is going to calculate is how much protein. It did a number of things, but the main thing he would do is how much protein do you need to be taking on a daily basis and on a weekly basis to lift your weights in the gym, to get stronger in the gym. How much do you need to be how much protein do you need to be putting in your body? And then he went into creatine as well. So he would kind of like, he would do it all out for protein, and then he'd be like, okay, this is the amount, this is the milligrams, this is the grams that you need to be taking in proteins every day, and then every week. And then he would go, okay, now to help with that, this is how much creatine is a safe amount to take, right? And personally, to me, he was right. like he was. Like I did it. I followed it all, and I did, like within it was amazing. It was really incredible. It was like I just remember, so we had this thing like Jesus, now I'm like I'm I'm touting here a little bit, but like basically we had what was called the 1,000 pound club. So it was this little club thing he made, and I always thought like, no, that's impossible. There's no fucking way. How does anyone do that? But basically he would take like all these different, you know, weight activities, I don't know, weight lifting things that we would do in the gym, and then he would add up the weight of all of those. So you would have your max out day. Most people who like are into weightlifting know what your max outs, right? So your max out's like the number. For those of you who don't know, your max out's the like total weight that you can lift for that day, right? So it's like you're trying to lift as heavy as you can on that machine for that day. And he would take your max out weights for every single thing, and he would add it up, and then if it went to 1,000, you made it into the 1,000 pound club, which eventually, yes, yours truly, I made it into the 1,000 pound club. It was nuts. It was crazy. And looking back, I can't even believe I did that, because like it just takes a lot of training. It takes a lot of physical training and a lot of looking at your diet, and constantly looking at my diet to be like, oh, this is what I'm eating. This is what I need to be putting in my body today, or every few hours. Like, okay, now I got to take this, and now I got to have like I was getting to the point where, oh, Jesus, I was taking, so going back to the creatine thing, I had this protein shake that had a certain amount of creatine in it. And it helped. It definitely helped. It definitely helped me get from being basically lifting like shitty small amounts of weight in the gym to getting up there quicker, right? And no, it's not steroids for those of you who don't know. However, it can, when taken in excess, can be very much like steroids. Personally, from what I experienced, I'm not saying I took it in excess. I'm saying I watched a bunch of my friends take just massive amounts of creatine. They thought they were smart, and they're like, oh, like I'm gonna beat the system and just take more creatine, because if you take more creatine, you're building more muscle index, or you're I don't even know what it's called. You're just building more muscle. You're getting stronger faster. You're just trying to beat everyone kind of to the finish line, and it can have massive detrimental effects. Because I mean, I watched one of my best friends. He was doing that, and then it's like almost like he burnt out, and then he slowed down on the creatine. It was like his body balanced back out. It's the weirdest fucking thing. But yeah, if you're yeah, taking too much. That's one of the things. It's like what I noticed was there was him and his cousin. Was it his cousin? They were like two of my best friends in high school. They both took a bunch of it. One of them ended up getting a really bad shoulder injury. The other ended up getting a knee injury. Now, was that because of the creatine? No. And personally, I think yes, because yes, they were that at that time, those players that was in football. Those guys had gotten hit, right? And so that was directly why they got hurt. Also, though, the creatine, what I'm saying is like had an effect on their performance. It had an effect, and I noticed it, and it was weird. It was like one of them, it was like he got fat. It was like he built muscle and he got big, like kind of how you're saying. He gained weight. And he like put on muscle weight, but he got fat. And it was just like what the hell? Like, you basically just took all that and got fat and like slow. He got slow. And so I think, personally, that kind of led to his knee getting hurt, because in practice he got slower. And I don't know, he just wasn't able, his reflexes weren't as strong, right? It was like he was just mentally slower too. And that was an observation. I don't know if he really was, but I'm saying he ended up like he didn't blow out his knee, thankfully, but he got seriously hurt. And the other guy, his oh no, my bad, that was the guy with the shoulder. The other guy was the guy with the knee, and it was similar. He put on a lot of weight, but he was toned because the way he worked out in the gym was he was always trying to go for tone. He was like obsessed with it, and so he put on muscle weight, and like he got big, but I noticed he started getting a lot of injuries in a very short amount of time. It was like one injury after the next. And I don't know. I don't know if there's a science behind it, but I swear to God, it was like, dude, because everybody had been talking about it, they're like, dude, you're taking a shitload of creatine. You need to slow down. And he's like, no, 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 like I'm fine. But then it was like um, he got his knee. Was it his knee? He got his knee hurt. And then he had another injury with his leg that could have been because of his knee. And then I think he had like a bicep torn and like just I don't know, just all this shit in a short amount of time. It was just nuts. It was nuts to watch. And then there was a bunch of other guys that started, oh yeah, I'm gonna take a bunch of creatine too. And I swear it was like watching shit. It's kind of like maybe I shouldn't say this. I don't I don't want to stir the pot, but like okay, I'll say it this way. Please reserve your personal thoughts on this topic, but I'll put it like this kind of a great comparison is like it's kind of like right now with the vaccines. It's kind of like there's the experimental group of like people getting them and then all these people saying what is, like they've shared their opinions online and just in general of like of side effects, right? And scientists are reporting that hey, there's all this data saying, these are the side effects coming from it, right? It was kind of like that. It was like watching a group of guys in the gym that were you knew the group of guys that were taking just way too much creatine, and you just kind of watch one by one. They all started to get hurt in a short period of time. Not like over a span of time. It was like a bunch of little injuries over time in the gym, out on the field, like all this stuff. And then there's the group of guys who were like kind of like me, where it's like we're adding a little bit of creatine, or the stuff we're buying has a little bit of creatine in it, but it's not going over the top. It's not too much. It's mostly just the protein itself, because creatine is a protein from my understanding. But it's like the other, I don't know. I'm not an expert on this stuff, but I'm just saying there was something about it that they were taking way too much, and it scared the hell out of me. I'm like, dude, there's something wrong. Why are you guys, we shouldn't be doing this. This is really bad. From what I had heard too, as far as side effects, there was supposedly, and I don't know this for certain, supposedly there was a bunch of side effects that were in taking it in excess. There was a bunch of side effects that guys had been saying and talking about that were actually similar to the side effects of like steroids. Now, I don't know. I've never done steroids in my life. I've never done any of that. I don't know if the guys that were saying that had done steroids, but supposedly there was, I guess, a few guys at that time had drawn a comparison and were saying, oh, some of these side effects are similar to steroids too. So, yeah. It does sound sketch. I know, right? See, that's the thing. Yeah, I was more of that person. I was more of, I would do the 2 scoops a day. But where it got, yeah, I mean, maybe it was. Maybe it is getting, that is a thing, like getting too big too fast, getting way too big, and your body just not understanding, or your body's just not designed biologically. Like some people are just not designed, I think, to just be like, go from like being little twigs to just being like, oh, and like, and yeah. So, damn, we just talked about creatine for a minute here. Holy shit. No, I think I'm not a nutrition expert. I'm not a fitness expert. I'm not a protein expert. I'm not a creatine expert. Matter of fact, I'm willing to bet, Cosmosis, that there are definitely people out there that would listen to everything I just said and be like, oh, that guy's full of shit. And maybe I am. And maybe I'm not. Because I remember, I swear, like it was like its own little epidemic. It was like, it was just nuts. I just remember a bunch of my friends getting hurt. And I just kind of was like, well, the obvious thing to do is to stop doing what you guys are doing. And many of them, by the way, because I brought up the steroids thing, no, I don't think, well, I know for certain a vast majority of them were not doing steroids. There was a few guys actually in high school that, that were doing steroids that weren't in that group that I was playing that sport with. But I remember seeing the side effects of that too, and seeing kind of that unfold, and that was a very strange thing. It just, it was very obvious. It was very obvious because they were all a bunch of twig guys. They were all just really tiny, scrawny, skinny guys that within 3 months went from being tiny, skinny, scrawny to holy shit. Who are you? What did you do with that person? Where did they go? And, like, obviously, like, just like literally going from like this to just walking around like this all day and just massive. And yeah, Jesus Christ, what a time. But no, that the Vega protein, I would highly recommend it. Whether you're vegan or not, whether you eat organic foods or not, whether you, whether you agree or disagree with me or not, I really think that Vega stuff, the Vega protein, it's amazing. It's definitely helped in COVID as far as, for me personally, as far as like hydrating and feeling like I'm getting back to normal and getting my vitamins, getting my nutrients in just a quick drink or a quick shake, right? You can add it with water. You can add it with orange juice. I never really tried it with milk. I'm sure you could try it with milk because I know the people out there that are really into getting as much protein as possible. I'm sure you could add it with milk, and I don't know how it tastes, but you could go ahead and try that for yourself. You can get it at Sprouts if you have a Sprouts where you're at. You can get it at Whole Foods markets. You can get Vega online. When they have deals, I've learned this from my friend, when they have a deal on Vega, that's when you buy the Vega because it's really, it's not cheap. So yeah. Yeah, holy crap. All right, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a break real quick. We're going to take I don't know, let's do, what should we do? You know, we'll do a break until right now here where I'm at. It's 11, or my bad. Is it 11? Oh, that clock's off. It's 12:37. We're going to take a break until 12:45. So I don't know what time that is where you people are at, but like 5 to 8 minute break. So go get your drinks, go get your snacks. And when we come back, we're going to talk about a few more things that I've been wanting to talk about. We're going to stop talking about creatine and stop talking about steroids. And we're going to talk about a few more things concerning, yes, health, but nothing to do with creatine and stuff like that. So go take a break, go pee, go poop if you need to, and we'll be right back, okay? Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm back. I hope you all got to take a pee break, grab some water, grab some snackaroos, some snack packs, so that we can kind of reset here for a moment. Speaking of all that healthy talk and hydration and like all that stuff, I have a Coca-Cola Cherry Vanilla again. But see, this is the thing. So because of COVID and my taste coming and going, soda has tasted like water lately to me. So it's a good thing and not a good thing, because then I'm like, oh, I can just drink soda and it tastes like water and I'm hydrating, but that's not the truth. And I don't know. It's really weird. Seriously though, like this soda, like I can't even really I can kind of taste the cherry a little bit, but it tastes like watered down. It just tastes so watered down. And I've been drinking this, and for the past few weeks, past 2 weeks now, I've had pretty much, I've had Coca-Cola Cherry Vanilla like in the fridge, and just whenever I have it, it's just like, it's so weird. It just tastes like water, and I'm like, oh my god. But the weird thing is, well, maybe it's not weird. The Arizona iced tea, I have another one here with me I haven't opened, but whether it's in the can or like the jug or whatever, I can taste the honey in it, because it has honey and ginseng or whatever, and I can taste the honey. So I think it has to do with my taste buds, of like what it's affecting, what COVID has affected with my taste buds, because I can taste the bitterness of orange juice. I can taste honey. I can taste like most sweet things. But then that's why I thought, like, when I would get a Coca-Cola Cherry Vanilla, that I'd be able to taste the cherry vanilla sweetness in it, and I can't. So yeah, it's really weird. And then the smell too is super weird. Like my taste is coming. It's definitely coming back more now, but it's like I said, it's with some things I can taste and then some things I can't. And then my smell, it's like the same thing. It's like I can smell some things, and then other things I have to like put it like basically in my nose, and then I can just barely smell it. Right? Like there's these essential oils that I've been using that I can't really smell all of them. It's really hard to smell some of them. But like, if I make there's this stuff that my cousin makes. It's called a Bonaga soup. It's basically like a meatball. It's, I guess the best way to describe it, it's like a meatball soup. It's really, really good. But last week I couldn't smell it and I couldn't taste it, and then this week I can smell it more and I can taste it more. But it's like not the full taste. It's like kind of, it's just like if somebody was like, hey, I'm going to cut your taste in half, so you're only going to taste half of how good this is. That's where I'm at pretty much, and it kind of sucks, but yeah, I wanted to talk more about whoops, let me play this real quick and catch up here. Yeah, we were talking about steroids and creatine and protein earlier, and we're kind of going in that direction of health. And shit, I don't even remember. Oh, I remember why we're talking about creatine, because of the Vega protein. Yeah, go get the Vega protein. It definitely helps, whether you have COVID or not. It's just great. But seriously, if you do end up getting COVID, it's really, I've noticed for me personally, that has helped a lot. Or just any protein that you can get your hands on, like a powdered protein, because it affects COVID, affects the taste buds, or your taste and smell. it's something that you can just drink, and if it tastes like shit, like you're not going to taste it anyways, and you could just drink it and get a lot of protein in you. If you don't have the energy to get out of bed and make a meal, like it's so much easier, and it's helped me a few times to do exactly that. When I don't, like, it sounds maybe a little absurd to people who haven't had COVID, but seriously, like just getting out of bed and making a meal in the first 2 weeks was hard. It was not easy. It just, you just feel like lethargic and like shit, right? So, yeah. So, oh, I have it written down because I kind of wanted to stay on track a little bit here. Yeah, so I talked about COVID, I talked about the protein stuff, and my symptoms. That's what I was going to mention too. Yeah, we kind of been talking about the taste and the smell, but as far as what I wanted to mention is, for those of you who've been following along, I shared a day or two ago on Instagram how my symptoms have been going back and forth. And this has been the really weird thing about COVID for me and my cousin, for my cousin and I, because it makes it a little tricky to navigate. So for those of you out there who are tuning in, if you don't have COVID, that's awesome and that's good, and I would never wish it on anyone. But I do want to share that, well, how do I say this? It doesn't mean that this will ring true for everybody, because so many people have been having different symptoms around getting COVID and having different experiences with it too. And my cousin and I have shared this experience where we have gone, both of us now have noticed, and we were talking about it earlier today, where we've gotten better, and then it's like a few days later, or almost like like the beginning of the week, you're feeling really good, you're feeling good as you're going through the week, and then maybe sometimes at the end of the week, you just start feeling like shit again, and you're like, what's going on? Like, am I getting sick again? And for her, that has been in the form of coughing and phlegm and headaches at times. She has kind of described like her, like having headaches, and that her cough is coming back, and that she's just hacking up a bunch of phlegm. When, like, she did it today, after, now she had it before me, so my cousin would be farther along than I would in healing from it, but like last week she was telling me she was much better, and she looked a lot better, and she looked like she had a lot more energy and was moving around a lot more. And then this week she's been I've noticed, before she left for her trip, and then now that she's back from her trip, I've noticed that she's kind of gone back and forth from having energy and feeling better to headaches and cough and phlegm coming back up. Right? For me, it's been a little bit similar, where it's bad, but the thing is mine, it doesn't feel as far apart. And maybe I'm wrong with her, but it's appeared as though my cousin hers has been a lot farther apart. Like, she's getting better for like 3-4 days, and then she's starting to feel like shit. And me, it feels like 1-2 days. Right? And maybe that's how it was last week. Maybe this week I'm getting into that phase of like, oh, now it's like 3-4 days. But definitely a lot last week. It's like I would go a day or two of feeling a lot better, thinking, oh my God, I'm so much better. And then like third day, all of a sudden I start getting out of breath. I start having a lot more headaches. I start having a bunch of phlegm come up. I start coughing a lot more. The fatigue starts setting in, and then maybe like 2 days of that, and then I go back to like, oh, I might get up and my head hurts, and then I like blow my nose and feel much better, and then I feel like I have more energy. So then, because I felt like I had more energy, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do all this stuff, and then as I'm going throughout my day doing this stuff, I start getting drained a lot quicker than I normally would, right? So what I'm sharing is it has been very much this back and forth experience of getting better, and then it's like that taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back kind of. It's felt very much like that, and it's super annoying, and it's like, it's for me frustrating because it's like I want to feel 100% and feel better and feel normal, and then there's that like where it kind of pulls you back a little and you're like, oh man, I thought I was better. I thought I was healed. I thought like this was over. And yeah, it's like no, like even though I've had pneumonia, it's like no sickness or cold or anything I've ever had. So that in those terms, where it's like normally you would think from a cold or a sickness, right before COVID, it's like you get it and then you get better and then it's done and you're over it. And then this has been like getting it and then getting over it and then, oh shit, I thought I was over it and I'm not over it. And it comes back and it kind of creeps back in, you know? And yeah, that's kind of been how I've been this past week a lot. So it's like, what I will say I'm a little bit worried about is like today and tonight, I felt like I've had a lot more energy. Yesterday, not so much. Yesterday was kind of felt like it was kind of both. It was kind of like I had energy and then I felt like shit, and then I had energy and then I felt like even shittier. Today it's like I've had energy. Okay, I have energy. I have energy. I have energy. I feel good, but I've been a little bit worried of that going back down again. Of like, oh shit, now I feel like I don't have the same amount of energy, and I feel worn out and like all the fatigue and stuff, right? So, I really am hoping for the best. I'm hoping that I'm hoping and I'm reminding myself to believe, okay, I am getting better. I am taking the steps in the right direction to be better. And even though I'm drinking soda, right, I'm still hydrating and I'm putting things in my body to help me regenerate and feel better, right? So yeah, I wanted to mention that, and then it kind of segues into, so we started kind of the stream on a very strange note of how we're in a retrograde and things are a little bit weird with this retrograde, and things have just felt off. I don't know about those of you out there, but today for sure, yesterday and today, things for me started to feel off. And I was thinking about that earlier, and I thought that it's not just the retrograde. It's like I felt like actually just going into this new year for me has just been, it's been off. It's been so off. And yeah, it's just weird. I don't know. It's just been weird. It's been a really weird start to the new year. My birthday is on the 5th of January, so I am now 29, and it's exciting. It's I laugh because like there's the memes I see on like Facebook and Instagram and what the hell? What? Really? What the hell? Holy shit, guys, sorry. I actually just got this text that I've been waiting for this for days. What the fuck? So, wow. I mean, shit, perfect timing. We're literally talking about it right now. Okay, so I get my testing done out here in Arizona from a company called Embry Health. They have a bunch of sites set up all over Arizona, especially right now. For those of you who weren't on stream earlier or who just don't know, and who don't live in Arizona, it has been, we haven't peaked. Like, I'll just put it that way. We basically, the numbers for the past 3 weeks to month out here have just been skyrocketing. We have yet to peak. Like, we're still going up, and so it's not great. That's kind of actually where I was about to go with talking about the new year and just kind of how things have been off. So yeah, it's incredibly perfect timing. I'll read the text basically to kind of fill in where I'm going here. The text reads, Michael, the result of your recent COVID-19 test was not able to be determined. Please proceed to a test site to be retested. I've never had that happen before, which is really weird. That's so weird. So I'm trying to check right now. It says that in the text message, but I'm trying to see if I log onto the site real quick, and I'll show you guys here in a second. Like, I'm not making this up. It actually is telling me that they can't determine whether my test was positive or negative. So I have tested positive twice for COVID now. I got this test a few days ago, 72 hours ago, here we go, download the result. I got the test results from this test I had 72 hours ago, and let's see what it says. Yeah, inconclusive. Wow, holy shit. So I got this test on the 15th. What's today? The 18th? Wow. Huh. That's so weird. It could be due to a sample with viral concentrations near the limit of detection, or the test of other factors. An additional sample collection may be considered. What the hell? That is so weird. I don't know why. That's really strange. I wasn't expecting that. Huh. Well, I'll say this. Okay, yeah, so check this out. Okay, let's see if I can, let me turn the brightness up here. So see, oh no, we'll go down here. So see that message? The result of your recent COVID-19 test was not able to be determined. Please proceed to a test site to be retested, and then for questions, call the number. Holy shit. Oh my god, that's so weird. I guess there was a problem with my sample, which is really weird. So, wow, yeah. I don't really know what to make of that. I guess I have to, I mean, I don't have to get retested, but like, so I basically went and got that test 72 hours ago because I wanted to know whether or not, personally for myself, I don't actually, my work is not requiring a positive or negative test result. After the first 10 days that they required me to quarantine at my work, like once I reported to my work, hey, I'm positive with COVID, in the first 10 days they required a positive result. After those 10 days, they basically told me, we don't, well, they didn't say that they don't require a positive result or a negative at that point. They just said all we're going off of from here forward is, after the 10 days, is your symptoms. So this test was more for my own personal, like, hey, am I still positive with COVID? Because I still have been experiencing the symptoms, but going into yesterday, my symptoms have felt like they've just gone way, way down, which is really good. But like I said, that's where I've been a little bit worried, is because my experience with this so far has been, it's been like I've gone up here, hellish symptoms, and then it's like I've gone down and then back up, and then like down and then back up, and so it's been that. Yesterday, well, I shared it earlier. I think yesterday's was kind of like this, and then I started to like, okay, now, like, I guess yesterday night, after, maybe it was after I slept, I don't know, I just felt like, boom, I felt like I got down here, like no symptoms, or just very, very small headaches, right? Very little symptoms, and today has been very much like that. I'm really grateful for it. So I want to presume that at this point I may very well be negative with COVID, as in it wouldn't be detected in my system. But that could also be their fault. I have no idea. It could have just been a problem with the samples that they had in that tray or whatever, and I don't know. Yeah, that's really weird. Huh. Wow. Interesting shit. But that was kind of where I was going though before I got that test result, was that I wanted to share, was just like this year, like going into this year, not, I mean, I started my year off pretty much by having COVID, being in bed. You know, the only thing I did for my birthday was I went to Chipotle, and I ordered it online, and I went in there masked up, and I just grabbed my stuff off the shelf, and that was the little treat I had for myself, for my birthday. I was feeling better on my birthday, but I'm sure that I was still at that point positive with COVID, and yeah, it's just been weird. It's been a weird start to the year. Things feel like they're progressing and they're moving forward, but I think this is the first year ever I have not once done any, like, or even thought of, really, up until right now, as I'm about to say it, like, I haven't thought about any resolutions. I haven't, um, I haven't thought of any of that. It was more of going into the new year for me. It was more of just like surviving. It was like, I need to beat this. I need to beat this and get better and get healthy. And that, I guess that was my resolution right away, was like, get healthy, right? Get healthy from this and get better. And I had been thinking on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, I had been thinking about some things that I was like, hey, I want to do this year, right? I didn't consider them resolutions, right? But it was more of like, hey, these are plans that I have for Nomad Zen. These are plans that I have for my personal life. These are plans that I have in places I want to go this year, if that's even possible anymore because of all this shit, right? But yeah, it's been an offbeat start to the year, I feel like. And personally, I feel like we have kind of bounced back as a country, as here in the States. I feel like we've kind of bounced back to the beginning of 2020. Like right now in Arizona, that's how it feels. I don't know about other states out there. It feels like that out here. It feels like we have kind of gone back to, because so many people are getting sick right now out here, it feels like a lot of people are in, and it feels like it's kind of in the air. The energy in the air feels like scattered and survival, and like in the beginning of 2020 when all this shit hit the fan and just people were just like panicked. It feels like that. Going to the grocery store, whether it makes a difference or not, and whatever side of the fence you stand on with this, I have been going to the grocery store wearing a mask. Whether the mask prevents me from getting it again or not, but the shelves have just been empty. Like, people are in panic mode out here, and it's not fun. It sucks. It's just like, I don't know. It just sucks. It just fucking sucks. And it's kind of brought like today. It kind of hit me because my cousin and I we watched her favorite team is the Arizona Cardinals. So unfortunately, they lost um, to the Rams. But we watched the game, and then she put on the news afterwards, and I just felt kind of drained and depressed from it. And I was just like, wow, like they just kept talking constantly about all the COVID stuff and how it's affecting schools and businesses and grocery stores, and like it's just been exhausting. It's been exhausting. I've been a bit worried. I've been a bit worried because of going back to work and trying to stay healthy. I'm almost certain that I got this from work, and that I actually was the one that got my cousin and I sick, and that I brought it home. Even wearing a mask at work, even like trying to be as safe as I could at work, even like having no contact with people, like trying to do the right things, and I got sick, and it sucks, and I just wish it for nobody. I wish it for nobody. It's really thrown me off. It's really thrown me for a loop, and I don't know. It's very real for me right now. And so I can understand for those out there who have not gotten it yet, and who hopefully don't ever get it, and that they just get tired of hearing about it and they just want to push it all out. And I've done that myself and just have wanted to push it all out and be like, dude, I'm done. I can't take listening to this shit anymore. It's just deteriorating. It's draining. And as I said earlier, I mentioned this earlier, like when you're in it, I was mentioning this with like retrograde, but when you're in it and you're in the heat of it, it's just in front of you, and you don't have to face it, but like you face it, and then all of the I'm getting tired even just mentioning it all, but we don't have to keep going down that path. I'm talking about it because it's just been my reality lately, and it's thrown me for a loop. It's really thrown me for a loop. It's really it continues to make me wonder what is going to happen out here in the States to our economy as we go forward with this year. What's going to happen with the job market and continuing to be employed in a healthy way, continuing to be supported from work and from our jobs and from what we do as careers or how we make incomes safely. And I really do believe that it is going to continue to go in the direction that we're doing right now, which is being online, staying home, distancing ourselves. Yeah. Yeah. I feel depressed just saying that, because it's like, this is why I feel like we've kind of gone back to 2020 right now out here in Arizona, is because, well, not wanting to be sick, wanting to be around people, just like be in a public place and be around people and breathe fresh air and go to the movie theaters and I don't know, just back to normal, right? So many of us have said that out here, out in out here in the States, a lot of us, a lot of the commercials, a lot of media, a lot of people on social media say, you know, I want it to go back to normal. I want things to go back to normal. And I don't know if we're ever going to get back to what many of us considered normal before COVID. I hear, and most of you hear, this whole talk of the new normal, and that phrase, the new normal, like this is all becoming the new normal of, you know, Zoom conferences and video chats and streaming to connect with communities and people, and like distance learning and all of these things, all of these online platforms that allow us to stay safe. And it's nice, and it's cool, I think, to see how we are progressing as a society, and how we're going about this, and how this is changing everything. And it also comes with that, it's kind of like that, the what's the phrase for it? It's like like homesickness. It's like being homesick. It's like okay, the news, it's fun and it's exciting and it's great to watch and it's amazing to be a part of it. And it's also like, oh, I miss home. I miss the way things were. I miss like just being in public. Like there's so many, especially this past weekend when my cousin was gone, I was dog sitting, and so the dogs need a lot of attention. And we watched a lot of shows and movies because that's the way I can connect with them, is like when they sit on the couch, or like, and when I'm out in the living room with them and they want to play with the toys and all that, right? But How I Met Your Mother, I'm rewatching How I Met Your Mother, and a lot of the stuff in that show that they show is like, you know, like being in public and hugging each other, or like that show is based around them going to a bar most of the time, going into a public place like that, whether it's a bar or not, and shaking hands or hugging each other and being really close to each other, and you know, like all of this connection. And it's not that we can't do that now, because there are people, especially out here in Arizona, there are people who are still doing that despite how many people are getting sick. There are people that are still doing that. I'm just saying, like, without the forethought of whether or not people are vaccinated, or whether they're wearing a mask, or whether they're this or that, or blah 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 blah. It's like, remember when none of that was there? It's just like you just get to hang out and be close, and yeah, it's just weird. It's homesickness. It's like, I want to go back home. I want to go back to the way things were. And somehow there's like a huge, beautiful gift in that, which is that we, as a world, as like literally people on the planet, on planet Earth, all together at the same time, get to learn how to let go. We all get to learn how to, like, the impermanence of life. We get to learn how to let go of the old and go into the new, you know? So, yeah. So now that I've talked everybody's ear off for pretty much an hour and a half, I want to go ahead and, well, let's see, what could we do? I'm debating whether or not we should call it a night. You know what? Here's what we can do. For the last 15 minutes, I really just want to listen to music now. Um, I really wanted to share a lot of that because a lot of that's been on my mind. This usually happens to me that when I jump off of a video or a stream or something, I come up with all these other things that I was like, oh, I should have mentioned all these things also that I wanted to talk about. But really, this stream was to kind of just check in about how I'm doing because of the COVID stuff. And well, I guess I'll share this last little bit is that things aren't great right now. Like they're not. They're not, and I know it's not just for me. They just haven't been though. They just haven't been great. Like it's been the COVID stuff, a lot of that, and it just gets annoying and it gets exhausting to listen to, and the vaccine stuff, right? It's just like all of it. It's just getting old and annoying and exhausting, and I've just been trying to do things to keep myself productive and doing segments like on here for the Nomad Zen channel and pages and all of my social media. It's what keeps me going sometimes. It's what's helped me to keep going in the midst of being sick with COVID. It's what's helped me to keep going for the past few years with COVID going on. And I'm just trying to hang in there and do the best I can. I've been worried about money lately. I'll put it this way, I guess my relationships have felt well, they're changing. My relationships with others, with my loved ones, with ones that I love, with ones that I care about, with myself, my relationship with myself as well, has been evolving too. My love life has felt like crap. It has felt just like, I don't know, it just felt like crap. It just felt like shit. The things that I want to do with Nomad Zen, with this page, with what I've been doing, is some of them have manifested as we've gone into this new year, and that's exciting for me. It's really exciting, and some of them haven't, and so it keeps me like earning or yearning to like keep striving for it and keep going for something that I want. And the more that I found myself working in that direction, the more I found my whole life like continuing to transform. I started this journey of building Nomad Zen, building this idea from my thoughts, from what I envisioned for myself, and it also I started I started Nomad Zen from doing readings, like most people think like tarot readings, but like angel guidance cards, or like that's what they're called, oracle cards, like oracle card readings. And I I thought that that's what I was going to transform this into, was like a card reading business. like doing readings for people in exchange for money and getting paid, and like running a business like that. And um, that in itself was just an experience. I thought, oh my God, I can't believe I remember this, but I at one time, um, I remember talking about, like, as in the beginning stages of building Nomad Zen, that I was a psychic and like I could do readings for people and help them, and I'm not a psychic. I've come a long way. But no, like it was batshit crazy, I know, but it wasn't at the same time. I think, um, personally, I think everyone has their own psychic-like abilities. Um, I really believe that everyone on this planet is intuitive. So I'm mentioning all of this, I'm talking about all this, I'm sharing all this because how I'm feeling right now, like with things just like my life feeling kind of, well, feeling afraid. I'm feeling afraid of a lot of things, and I'm feeling like as we're going into a retrograde, yes, I'm feeling like a lot of the areas of my life I'm worried about, or I have fear around, like, and or I'm sad, and I feel like crap, and I'm just like, why am I feeling all these shitty feelings? And I don't want to feel all this. I don't want to feel all this right now. I just want to feel better, especially after having COVID and going through this. I just want to feel better and progress, right? And I remember like the early stages of building Nomad Zen and how awkward and odd that experience was, and how it like how embarrassing it was to like put myself in front of a camera and try these things, especially when it was with the cards, especially when I was doing readings. It was just like so embarrassing, and I was so in my head about people thinking that I was fucking crazy because of saying I was a psychic and doing that. And then I was like, no, this is dumb. I don't want to do this. I don't think I really am a psychic. I just like, I didn't know the word for it. I just a better word is intuitive. And once again, along my journey, I have felt that everyone truly is intuitive. I get tired of hearing people be like, oh, I'm super intuitive, and in spiritual like communities, in hippie like communities, of people being like, oh, I'm really in tune and intuitive. And everyone can be, everyone is, and everyone can be. Everyone can really harness that and be very in tune with themselves and with the outer world. All of us have that capability. I really believe that. I really believe if we work on that in ourselves, we all really have that innate ability to do that, to be intuitive. I really think everyone does have an ability to do a card reading, and that's why most people were like, "Oh, well, that proves it's bullshit," right? But but no, I was just finding myself. I was finding myself, and so when times like this happen, going into this retrograde, going into fix my shirt here, going into times like this where we're going into a retrograde, and things also in the world, or at least out here, just kind of feel like shit, right? People are getting sick, and like it's just not good. It's just a shitty energy in the air. Reminds me of where I started with Nomad Zen, with living in my car, with doing odd jobs, with posting my own ads on Craigslist to get work, with taking a risk at various jobs, like, and putting myself out there when people around me weren't doing that, when people around me were afraid to do those things. And then even before that, when I was that person, when I was afraid to do those things and put myself out there and really just not give a shit about what people thought, right? When I used to really just care, like, oh my God, I'm going to look so stupid if I do this or that, right? And then I've come so far, and I'm so proud of myself, and I feel as though this time, and one of the beautiful things about what has happened to the world with COVID is that I think it is allowing more people to evolve on that journey, evolve in their own lives, in their own journeys of making various sacrifices, of challenging themselves in ways that they never thought before imaginable, in ways that they never thought they could do at all. And I don't know, it's a beautiful thing. It's a very beautiful thing to watch. It's like watching a flower blossom over time. It's like you see it grow and evolve and blossom over time, or a butterfly. Caterpillar going into the cocoon and becoming the butterfly. It's a beautiful thing. It's a really beautiful thing to watch, and it's beautiful to experience in your own life and to watch it in others, for them to grow on their journey. And so when I find myself in times like this, when things don't feel like where I want them to be, or great, or just like when they feel like shit, when things feel like shit, or I feel worried, or I feel like I was mentioning, when I feel worried about things, or fearful, or sad, these emotions that sometimes we try to just push down and push away, and like, oh, I don't want that, I don't want to feel that. It has allowed me to embrace those more. It's not easy embracing them, and it can still be a journey of its own, and a reckoning of its own, right? But it just has empowered me and given me the strength and the confidence and the endurance, if you will, and the motivation, and all of these things together, to the resilience, I think is the word I'm actually looking for, the resilience to be like, like, I can do this. The resilience to grow that confidence in yourself, to be like, hey, you know what? I can do this. I've been through all these things, and it taught me so much. I can do this. So if you out there, whoever you are hearing this, and things aren't where you want them to be, take a look back on your journey. How did you get to where you're at right now? Like, we, especially before COVID, we all were not in the places we were then that we are now. Many people, especially with COVID, like, changed the complete, did a complete 180 on their lives, because they were like, hey, it showed me I don't want all these things, and I want to do this instead, and there you go. There you go. So just remember how far you've come. I think with that, I'm actually we're gonna close with that. I'm gonna close on that note. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for supporting me, especially during COVID, and all the messages that I've gotten of encouragement and getting better and healing, and of well-being, and just like the presence that I got, like the actual physical presence that I've gotten, the food that it's gotten delivered to my cousin's house. There was a FP, you let me watch season 5 of Rick and Morty that I hadn't seen. That's really, those things, they all added up, and they still do. And it's definitely helped me to continue to keep going, to continue to try to get in front of the camera when I have the energy and when I can. And all of those things too have reminded me that when I get, all in my head of like, oh, I'm worried about this or how this is going to work out, or I'm afraid of how this is going to go, or how it's not going to go, and oh man, this is making me sad and I'm feeling like shit. Like, it's reminded me to take it easy, to take a step back and take it easy and just collect myself and like, hey, you know what? Reminds me of the journey that I've been on to get to right to this point right now. And all right, I can take it easy. I'm gonna be fine, and everything's gonna be fine, and the world is going to be fine. The world is healing. We're all healing. So there you go. There you have it. Have a great night or great day wherever you're at in the world, and thank you all for tuning in. I will see you. Well, if you don't follow me on Instagram, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. If you have Facebook as well, I am on Facebook as Nomad Zen. And yes, I'm actually posting content over on YouTube now. So if you don't like using Instagram, or you don't use Instagram, pretty much everything or most things that I post on Instagram, I'm now beginning to post on YouTube. So go ahead and check me out on those platforms, and I'll see you soon. Peace out.